Ladies, let's just drop the filter for a second. This is real talk. Because if we're being honest, there's one area of intimacy that so many women feel nervous, confused, or even a little insecure about, but it also happens to be one of the most powerful ways to ignite a man's deepest desire and form an unforgettable connection. I'm talking about going down on him, not just doing it, but doing it with confidence, intention, and a level of expertise that makes him think about you every time his mind wanders, which, let's face it, is often. Now, this isn't about being someone you're not. It's not about turning into a fantasy you saw on a screen. It's about becoming the woman who understands his body better than he does. It's about learning how to tap into his most intimate triggers, not just to satisfy him, but to own your sexual confidence in a way that leaves him completely undone. What makes this so special isn't just the physical act. It's the energy behind it. It's the eye contact, the tease, the slowness, the rhythm, the confidence in your touch. Because when you know what you're doing, when you're in control, when you understand the game beneath the surface, he'll never look at oral the same way again. And more importantly, he'll never look at you the same way again. So in this video, I'm going to break down 5 expert moves that don't just get him off, they drive him absolutely crazy for you. These aren't tricks. These are master level mindset shifts and physical techniques that take you from good to he can't stop thinking about you good. And I want you to take what resonates, practice what excites you, and most importantly, do it in a way that feels empowering to you, because intimacy is not just about performance. It's about presence. It's about knowing you can take your time, own your space, and give in a way that makes him want to give you the world in return. Are you ready to learn how to go down like an expert and leave him craving more of you, mind, body, and soul? Let's get into it. Slow is powerful. Don't rush to the finish line. When it comes to going down on a guy, most women, understandably, assume that the goal is to get right to the action, to make him feel good fast, to get the result. But that mindset is where most of the magic gets lost. Because what actually drives him crazy isn't the destination. It's the tension, the build-up. The sense that you're not just doing something to him, you're with him in it, completely present, enjoying every second. And the first expert move is to slow it all the way down. Men are visual, physical, and primal, but they're also deeply reactive to a woman's energy. When you rush, he feels the pressure. But when you slow down, you create the kind of erotic tension that takes over his brain. You're not just showing him that you know what you're doing. You're showing him that you're in control. And trust me, nothing is sexier to a man than a woman who enjoys teasing him. It's psychological. It makes him feel like you're so confident in your ability to blow his mind that you don't need to rush. You're going to take your time because you can. So instead of diving right in, start outside the box. Literally, use your hands, your mouth, and your breath to explore everywhere but the main event, kissing his inner thighs, brushing against him lightly, letting your lips linger without pressure. All of this gets his nerves fired up. His brain starts spinning, his heart rate goes up, and suddenly he's hanging on every single move you make. That's how anticipation builds. That's how you flip the script from she's doing something for me to I'm obsessed with what she's doing to me. And here's the key, eye contact. When you pause, look up at him, hold his gaze. You're not asking for permission. You're reminding him that you're here, fully in control and loving every second. That simple look can send a man into overdrive. It creates connection, intimacy, vulnerability, and it turns a physical act into a moment that's emotionally charged and unforgettable. By the time you actually begin, he's already halfway undone, because the tease wasn't just foreplay, it was the point. And once he realizes how attuned you are to his pleasure, how much confidence you have in the slow burn, he'll be craving more than just the physical sensation. He'll be craving you. Your energy, your presence, your power. Remember, it's not about doing more, it's about doing less. but doing it with total awareness. Slowing down isn't boring. It's hypnotic. It makes him feel like you are the experience, not the act itself. And when he feels that, he's not just turned on, he's hooked. Use the power of your hands in sync. One of the biggest myths about going down on a guy is that it's all about your mouth, that your lips, your tongue, and your rhythm are doing all the work. But let me tell you something most men won't say out loud. It's the combination of your hands and your mouth working together that takes things from this feels good to, oh my God, what is happening to me? Your hands are not just there to hold or guide. They're an extension of your sensual energy. They allow you to create layers of stimulation, pressure, and rhythm that elevate the experience to something unforgettable. And the way you use them sends messages that go way beyond the physical. They say, I know what I'm doing. I'm not rushing this. I'm in control of your pleasure. That alone will have him melting in your hands, literally. Now, here's the technique. Don't just start moving both at once without intention. Begin by lightly using your hand to explore, almost like you're studying his body, learning what he reacts to. Don't grip, glide, tease. Let your touch feel deliberate, sensual, and present. Once you start using your mouth, bring your hand in to work with your movements. If your mouth is focused on the tip, your hand can slowly twist and slide at the base. If you're switching to using your tongue, your hand can gently maintain rhythm and pressure so he's still in a constant state of stimulation. This is where you become hypnotic, because he doesn't know what to focus on anymore. Your hand and mouth are creating sensations in different places at different intensities. And suddenly his brain is short-circuiting from the overload. That's when the pleasure shifts into something deeper, where he's not just aroused, he's mentally and emotionally wrapped up in what you're doing. The real expert move is learning to respond. Pay attention to his breathing, the way his body tenses, the way his hands reach for you or grip the sheets. All of those are silent signals telling you what he loves. And when you respond, when you subtly match your rhythm to what turns him on, you're not just impressing him, you're imprinting on him. You're giving him a new memory of what it feels like to be completely understood and consumed by a woman. A memory that replays in his mind long after the moment is over. The truth is, most women treat their hands like a backup tool. But when you learn to use them with finesse, control, and sensitivity, they become the secret weapon that takes you from she gave me oral to she ruined me for everyone else. This isn't about performance, it's about connection, intention, control. It's about understanding that his pleasure isn't just something you create, it's something you conduct. And when you master that harmony, he won't know what hit him. Tease first, then take control. If there's one thing that turns a man into absolute putty in your hands, it's the art of teasing. Most people underestimate how insanely powerful anticipation can be, especially for a guy. And I'm not just talking about making him wait. I'm talking about keeping him in that delicious tension where he doesn't know when you're going to give him what he wants or how you're going to do it. That mental edge, that loss of control, it drives him crazy. When you tease, you're not just stimulating his body, you're hijacking his mind. He becomes obsessed with what's next. His imagination kicks in. He becomes more sensitive, more reactive, and more desperate for your next move. And here's where it gets even hotter. Once he's hanging on by a thread, that's when you shift gears and take total control. You go from soft and slow, almost feather-light, to confident, intentional, and commanding. You change the pace. You lock into a rhythm. You hold him in your gaze, and without even needing to say a word, you tell him, I've got you now. That contrast, the gentle teasing followed by complete control, is like a sensual earthquake in his nervous system. It shatters every thought in his mind except you. But let's break this down a little more, because teasing isn't just about delay, it's about curiosity. Start by hovering. Get close enough for him to feel your breath. Brush your lips softly across the skin around his most sensitive areas. his inner thighs, his stomach, his hips, anywhere but the center. Let your fingers trace invisible lines on his skin while you stay completely calm, completely confident. Maybe you place one soft kiss and then pull back. Maybe you touch him, look up with a knowing smile and wait. The more you hold back, the more intensely he wants you. And when you finally do give him what he's been craving, that's when you own it. Fully. No hesitation. You're not asking if he likes it. You're showing him he has no choice. And that moment, when you flip the power dynamic, is everything. Because now he's completely surrendered. Not just to your touch, but to you. That tease to take over strategy creates a psychological imprint. It makes you unforgettable, not just because of what you did, but how you did it. With confidence, with sensuality, with intention. You didn't just stimulate him, you dominated his desire. Most women think they have to keep things consistent and smooth to be good at going down, but real expertise lies in the contrast, in the play between softness and intensity, in the ability to keep him guessing. And that's what turns a moment of pleasure into a fantasy he'll replay in his head every time he's alone. The tease isn't a delay, it's a weapon. Use it well, and he won't just want more, he'll need it. Make eye contact, like you own him. If there's one move that instantly elevates a physical act into something unforgettable, it's this. Looking him dead in the eyes in the middle of it. And I don't mean some accidental glance or a quick flick of the eyes. I mean owning the moment. Holding that eye contact in a way that says, yes, I'm doing this to you. And I know exactly. Here's the truth. Most people underestimate how emotional physical intimacy can be, especially for men. Because while they may be seen as more visual or physical creatures, when a woman meets them with bold, unshakable presence, it flips a deep switch inside them. They stop seeing you as someone who's simply giving pleasure. They start feeling like they've been chosen, that you're not just participating, you're taking control of their desire, guiding it and watching them unravel. Eye contact in that moment adds an electric layer to the experience. It connects the physical to the emotional, and it tells him without a word that you're confident, that you're present, and that you're not afraid of being seen, which in turn gives him permission to surrender to you completely. But this isn't about making it awkward or intense. It's about being in the moment, holding his gaze for a second, then breaking it at just the right time, flashing that mischievous smile, maybe raising an eyebrow like, yeah, you like that, don't you? That quick moment of visual connection creates a loop in his brain. He sees you, he feels you, and he remembers you. There's also a vulnerability here that is incredibly seductive. It's not about being performative, it's about being authentic. When you look up at him mid-act, you're saying, I'm not just physically here, I'm mentally here, I'm emotionally tuned in, and I want you to feel all of it. That level of raw connection breaks past the usual layers of lust. It makes him feel safe and aroused at the same time. And that is an addictive combination. Here's a little bonus move. When he's close, really close, give him one long, slow glance. Don't rush it. Let your eyes linger. Let him feel the intensity in you. That moment alone might send him over the edge. Not because of what you're doing physically, but because of the way you just saw him. And in a world where most men feel unseen outside the bedroom, that kind of eye contact doesn't just excite them, it heals them. It's not about turning this into a performance. It's about showing up with full presence and letting him feel all of you, not just your body, but your power, your confidence, your command of the moment. When you can take the most intimate act and layer it with emotional intensity like that, you don't just blow his mind, you ruin him in the best possible way. For anyone who doesn't know how to look at him like you do, whisper what you want him to remember. There's something primal about words spoken in the heat of the moment, not shouted, not scripted, but whispered. Right when he's at his most vulnerable, most turned on, and most tuned into you. And if you want to blow his mind and have him replaying the entire experience in his head for days, This is where you leave your mark. Because here's what most people don't realize. What you say during intimacy lingers in a man's brain far longer than the act itself. Touch fades. But words echo. Especially when they're spoken low, close to his ear, when he's lost in sensation and not expecting to hear something so direct, so dirty, or so genuine. Now, I'm not talking about saying something random or vulgar just to shock him. This is about using your voice as a second seduction tool, one that guides him emotionally while you're pleasing him physically. You're building his arousal and cementing your presence in his memory all at once. So what do you whisper? Here's where the magic happens. You say something he doesn't expect, something that triggers his imagination. Maybe it's a simple, confident, "I love watching you lose control," or "You taste so good," or "I'm not done with you yet." It could be a sexy promise for later, or it could be as intimate as "I've wanted this all day." The point is, make it personal, make it intentional, make it something that feels like you're claiming him. And timing is everything. Don't rush it. Wait for that moment when he's fully immersed in pleasure, right on the edge, when he's moaning, breathing heavier, grabbing at the sheets. Then lean in, let your lips graze his ear and deliver the line. Let your breath tickle his skin as your voice takes him even deeper into the moment. He won't forget that, because now the memory is no longer just physical, it's psychological. And here's the secret that turns this from hot to unforgettable. The words you choose reveal your confidence. They show you're not afraid to be bold, that you know what you want, that you're leading the moment instead of just reacting to it. And for a man, that's magnetic. That's the kind of woman who lives in his fantasies long after she's left the room. You can go soft and sensual. You can go dominant and commanding. You can even be playful and teasing, but always be intentional. The right whisper at the right time from a woman who owns her sexuality, that's not just sexy, that's legendary. So don't be afraid to speak. Speak low, speak slow, speak to his deepest desires, because long after the pleasure fades, it's those whispered words that will haunt his thoughts, replay in his mind, and make him crave you all over again. So there you have it. 5 expert moves that don't just make a moment hot, they make it unforgettable. A quickie doesn't have to mean rushed. It doesn't have to be something you just squeeze into the cracks of a busy day. It can be something thrilling, something deeply connecting, something that grabs his body and his mind and doesn't let go. Because when you approach intimacy with presence, when you layer in boldness, confidence, and just the right amount of mystery, you do more than satisfy him, you ruin him. In the best way, you make him think about you long after you've left. You make him crave more than just your body, you make him crave you. And isn't that what real connection is all about? Not just the act, but the impact. Not just touching his skin, but reaching into that space where chemistry and emotional tension collide. That's the sweet spot. That's where real desire lives. And now you know how to take him there. Fast, deep, and unforgettable. If this spoke to you, if it lit something up inside you or gave you permission to show up as your bold, sexy, irresistible self, then don't keep this to yourself. Share it with a friend, with someone who needs to hear it, or just hit that like button and subscribe so we can keep growing together and turning moments into magic. Drop a comment and tell me, which of these expert moves are you going to try next time? Or better yet, which one do you already know works like fire? Remember, you are allowed to take the lead. You are allowed to own your desire. And when you do, you become the kind of woman a man doesn't just want once, but dreams about